Welcome to the show. Brock Page here. Random sports picks for fun. The Sooners travel to Boone Pickens Stadium. God, I love that name. To take on Oklahoma State. Big conference showdown, big rivalry showdown, potential playoff implications as well. Let's get into it. The betting in this one opened up with the Oklahoma State Cowboys as the 3-point favorites and the total at a bulbous 74 points. Since the betting opened up, however, most of that early money has come pouring in on the over. A lot of folks out there think this one will be a shootout. Right now, the total moved upward to 76 points, and the majority of the action also came in on OSU to cover, with the spread moving upward to OKST minus 3.5. And at the moment, Oklahoma State's $1.50 to win it outright. Now, if you're betting sides and you like the Cowboys, you might end up being in good company once these lines start moving. The Oklahoma State Cowboys against the spread have been pretty good against the number, going 5-3 overall, 2-1 at Boone Pickens, and 5-3 when laying the points. This OSU team is also a solid 2-1 covering as the official home favorite. All that aside, however, I'm not so sure the Cowboys are a stone-cold lock to win this one. OSU's really struggled against the number against quality opponents. This OSU team is a dismal 0-2 covering against teams over 700. They also failed to cover in 3 of their previous 4 games before last week's action. They're going up against a Sooner team who's a victorious 1-0 covering in their lone game, catching the points. They're also 1-0 covering as the official road underdog and 1-0 covering against teams over 700. Most recently, they've won their last 3 outright, and they successfully covered a 21-point spread over the Texas Tech Raiders. All in all, if you're betting sides and you like either team, so far I've made a pretty good case for you. Now, when it comes to the scoring, we've seen this one open up at 74 and move upward to 76 thus far in the week. Like I said earlier, now Sooner games are 2-1 to the unders in their last 3. OSU games are 2-1 to the overs in their last 3. The Sooners averaged 40 points of scoring in those 3 games, surprisingly. And on the other side, Oklahoma State held their opponents to just 13 points a game in 2 of those 3 aforementioned contests as well. All said and done, the trends and numbers are all over the place when it comes to the total, so I'm going to be foregoing a play on the points in this one. And to be honest, I'm real hesitant on taking sides in this one as well because both teams have played so damn well all year round. That said, I'm also going to forego a play on the money line here as well. I will buy the hook, though, and take the Oklahoma Sooners +4, maybe not winning this one outright, but certainly covering the 4-point spread. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be Clemson laying the 6.5 at NC State with the total at 51.5. Another great matchup in an incredible slate of college football games this weekend. Clemson's 3-1 to win it outright, 3:30 Eastern kickoff this Saturday at Carter Finley. I do see this one moving throughout the week. I'm definitely projecting NC State to at least be catching another point or 2 by kickoff. And if you've been betting sides on NC State throughout the season, you've probably been pretty frustrated with all those outrights, yet failing to cover at the same time. NC State against the points have been pretty lackluster on the year, covering just 3 of 7 overall and just 1 of 3 at Carter Finley. NC State's also struggled to cover against these good teams, covering just 1 of 3 games versus teams over 700. They're going up against a Clemson squad who's been fairly successful against the number, going 5-3, covering in their games overall. Clemson against the spread is also 2-1 traveling, 5-3 laying the points, and 1-0 covering in games at the current total. Clemson has also garnered themselves some marquee covers over the likes of Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Louisville, and Auburn. All said and done, looks like the money's heading in the right direction. I'm certainly a huckleberry for the public action as well. I also think NC State is extremely deflated after their lopsided loss against the Fighting Irish. Now, scoring-wise, big trends that support under bettors, even though the public thinks we'll see some offense. Clemson games are 4-0 to the unders in their last 4. They've held their opponents to just 17 points of scoring per contest in those games. Meanwhile, same exact story on the NC State side. Wolfpack games went 4-0 to the unders in their last 4 themselves. There was just some slight movement on the total after opening at an even 51. And like I said, it's now currently 51.5. I will have to disagree with that line movement here. I'm also looking forward to making 2 plays on the game. Now, since Clemson's laying the points, all those trends and factors are totally applicable to the outright score. I do think Clemson can get it done when it comes to the spread. I really don't want to lay the points, though. Therefore, I'll pay the hefty price. I'll pay the expensive price. Good ain't cheap and cheap ain't good, right? All told, I'm favoring Clemson for the heavy price, winning this one outright with, for some money line cash with the under 51.5. All right, next game. Wake Forest, Notre Dame. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Notre Dame's success is good for college football. It's good for the brand of college football. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but it's good for the game. Irish open 15, now 13. Total open 60, now 55. The Irish are 550 to win this one outright. And when it comes to the spread, Notre Dame is one of the best in the country. Against the spread, Notre Dame 7-1 overall, 4-1 at Notre Dame, 7-1 laying the points. The Irish are also 2-0 covering at the current total, 4-1 covering as the official home favorite, 4-1 covering against teams giving up less than 25 points a game. Most recently, Notre Dame has gone 6-0 against the number in their last 6. They've also garnered themselves some marquee wins and covers over the likes of NC State and USC. They've got themselves a Wake Forest ball club who hasn't been all that consistent against the points on the road. Wake Forest has covered just 2 of 4 when traveling and just 2 of 4 against teams giving up less than 25 points per contest. I know a lot of that public money's coming in on the Demon Deacons. I just don't know if they can do it. Now, scoring-wise, Wake Forest has given up a ton of points this year. In their last 3 games, they're giving up 33 points of scoring on average per contest. Their games have also gone 2-1 to the overs in those 3 games. Meanwhile, quite a different story on the Notre Dame side. Irish games are 2-1 to the unders themselves. They're also giving up just 12 points of scoring per game in those contests as well. I do see why this line has moved downward. I'm just a little bit concerned as to how many points Notre Dame will score themselves. They've proven they can score. All told, I'm going to forego a play on the total and obviously the money line because the rent is too damn high. I am going to take action on the spread, however, and lean toward Notre Dame laying the 13, getting the job done against the number. Next game. Next game. Virginia Tech, Miami, 8 o'clock Eastern primetime kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida. We've also had ourselves a good old-fashioned flip of the lines in this one. That's what I was trying to say. Virginia Tech opened this one up catching 1.5 with the total at 47.5. Since the opening lines, however, they flipped. The Hokies are now laying 2.5 with the total moving upward to an even 51 points. And at the moment, Virginia Tech's laying 135 for some money line cash. If you're leaning toward the Virginia Tech side, the money and the trend support you. The Hokies have gone an impressive 5-2 against the spread overall and 2-1 covering on the road. Virginia Tech against the spread is also 5-1 laying the points and 2-1 as the official road favorite. But if you think the Hokies are a lock to get it done, a stone-cold lead pipe lock, not so fast, my friend. They've garnered themselves real soft covers over Duke, UNC, Old Dominion, and ECU. Wow, I think Bishop Gorman was another team they covered against. But anyway, they're going up against a Miami squad who kind of looks like the U of old. They've been real good against quality opponents, going 2-0 covering versus teams over 700. They're also 2-1 covering versus teams giving up less than 25 a game. That said, Miami themselves have a few trouble spots when it comes to the number. They're 3-3 against the spread overall, just 1-2 at home, and the Hurricanes have failed to cover the spread in their last 3 straight games. No wonder we had a flip of the lines, and choosing sides is certainly going to be no easy task in this one. Let's see if we can get a few trends on the scoring. Now, total-wise, we haven't seen a whole lot of fireworks in these Miami games, The Hurricanes have gone 5-0 to the unders in their last 5. As a matter of fact, just one game this year went over, and that was against Toledo. Miami held their opponents to just 19 points of scoring in their most recent 2 unders as well. Meanwhile, very similar story on the other side, as Tech Games went 4-1 to the unders in their last 5 themselves. They're also holding their opponents to an average of just 5 points per game in 4 of those 5 contests as well. All said and done, I'm going to have to fully disagree with the public money on this one. All told, I'm foregoing a play on sides in this one. I will, however, happily take the under 51 points in this contest. Next and final game for the show, I'm talking about LSU Bama. 8 o'clock Eastern start, Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. The Tide opened 21.5, now 20.5. Total open 51.5, now 48.5. Bama's laying 14.50 for some money line cash. If you're betting sides and you like LSU plus the 3 touchdowns, your head might just be in the right place. LSU against the spread is 4-3 overall, 3-1 on the road, and 1-0 catching points. LSU's also covered a few games against those good teams. The Tigers are 2-1 covering against teams over 700. Most recently, the Tigers have garnered themselves 3 consecutive wins and covers. They do have themselves an Alabama opponent who's been absolutely decimating teams. Bama's also been laying double digits in nearly every single game of the year. As a matter of fact, out of Bama's 8 games on the year, they were laying double-digit points in 7 of them. And out of those 7, Bama was giving up, on average, 32 points per contest. Unbelievable. And out of those ridiculous point spreads, Bama's actually covered 50% of them. Against the spread, the Crimson Tide's 4-4 overall, 4-4 laying the points, 1-0 in games at the current total. Total-wise, Bama games just 1-2 to the overs in their last 3. They've held their opponents to just 9 points of scoring per contest in their last 4. Meanwhile, other side, a little bit different story as LSU games went 2-1 to the overs themselves. They also averaged 37 points of scoring in those 2 overs. I'm not feeling good about this total. It's been bouncing around, and it's going to continue to do that throughout the week. And as a matter of fact, I hate choosing sides in this one. I think Bama is your clear-cut winner, but is it worth laying almost 1,500 in the spot here? No, but anyway, this could be a great game, but I just don't have a beat on it. But since I do have a pick show here, I guess I have to make the ridiculous, completely impractical moneyline play on Alabama. So all told, I'm foregoing a play on the spread and the total, but obviously I do think Alabama takes it outright. All right, guys, I'm going to have more games later in the week. We do have some other marquee matchups. I just wanted to get a couple college games out at the beginning of the week because a couple people were unhappy with me that I released a college game on Friday, college video on Friday. But anyway, got you guys going early in the week. I got another one coming out later in the week. And all right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I'm not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. And if for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.